Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
Welcome to another great episode of Foxborough Central. I'm Bob Hickey, your host. Thank you for taking a little bit of time to sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee, and learn about the people, organizations, and events that truly do make Foxborough the gem of Norfolk County. Speaking of events, and one of the great events that happen every year about this time, it's Foxborough Founders Day 2013. And joining me today, of course, are people who need no introduction, but I'll introduce them anyway because I'm your host and that's what I do. It's Cindy and
Bob,
Steve.
good morning.
Drew, how are you both doing today?
Great, thanks. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking a little bit of time to share with us what's going on exciting this year on Foxborough Founders Day. Foxborough Founders Day, of course, is on Saturday, June 8th. June 8th this year. And Founders Day, this is our 35th year?
25th.
25th year. I'm off by a decade, but number one in my heart.
Goes by fast.
It does indeed. 25 years, and this is going to be a pretty cool weekend coming up, I understand.
Yes, it is. First off, 25 years is the 25th anniversary of this particular Founders Day being formed way back when Carl Cush and a group of small people, very small amount of people, put it together and started it. So we're celebrating that, and we're so happy to be doing that because a lot of organizations fall apart way before then. So this year we're looking for some really great venues coming through the parade and as well down at the Booth Playground.
Well, before we start talking about the cool things that are happening, you raise a great point, and it is volunteer driven. This is not a town function. This is a not-for-profit. This is a group of civic-minded volunteers who get together and have coordinated. And this is a year-round operation. I know from the work that's gone into it, and from areas where been a Boy Scout leader, so we get into the parade. Been a JC, so we've done a float. So there's so many different things going on. It's rather cool, but it's also rather a daunting task. How long have you been working on the Founders Day project, we'll call it? How many years have you been involved?
About 8 years.
8 years?
We've been on the committee.
Right.
And now
worked our ways up.
You've worked your ways up through the ranks, and
yeah, right.
Now you're the Grand Poobah.
Well, Cindy gets that role.
Cindy's the Grand Poobah, and you are the one who runs around the field.
The field, right.
Like the Mad Hatter, morning of,
Exactly.
telling us where to put our tents, our staging, and everything else that needs to go up to make the day a success. So let's see. First of all, we have the parade. Is that the first event this year?
This is the first event this year because, unfortunately, the pancake breakfast has been canceled.
Oh, no.
I know. Everybody's looking forward to it, but
okay, everybody eat breakfast at home, or if you want to stop by the Foxborough Cable Access, we're always broadcasting the parade. We've got donuts and coffee, and of course, you got to jump in and volunteer with us. But that's my own recruiting plug. So we'll talk about it's all volunteer driven, and that's the real focus of Founders Day from a user standpoint. It's a great day for all the nonprofits and civic groups to get together. Yes, it's our fundraiser, but it's also our exposure, our recruiting tool, the way we see our neighbors, and the way we get seen in what we do. So, from the Lions Club, iMobile to you've got the Masons are doing something this year. In fact,
Right. In fact, you just hit on a good point, Bob, and that's that every venue that's down on the field, the parade can be for-profit and nonprofits, but we're actually by law restricted, and we're very careful to make sure that everybody down the field is all nonprofits, which is the way this whole Founders Day was put together years ago, 25 now, and it's a daunting process. Of course, everybody wants a piece of it, but to make sure that they get their day, and that was what makes this so much more special than, let's say, the surrounding towns, where they've got a mix of everybody. This gives the local churches, the charitable organizations that benefit the residents of Foxborough their day. They are the focus on that day.
You mentioned the word special, and that's a word I always use when it comes to Founders Day. And it is a special day in that it's your neighbors who are doing it. I mean, you go to the Rotary Hamburgers, and you can see that it's your friends and neighbors, flipping the burgers and making the dogs. You go to the JC's tent, and you buy the food during the day, you do the glow sticks at night, and the glow sticks, for those of you the uninitiated at home who are coming up to Foxborough Founders Day for the first time this year maybe, come on down. But the glow sticks items that glow in the dark with the wonderful fireworks at night, those all also are generating money to funnel back into the fireworks display for the following year, right?
And or the community. I mean, that's the JCs that typically does that, and they're one of many organizations that also supports Founders Day. Each year, the whole event is sponsored by contributions and donations.
Yep.
So we do go out to the for-profit businesses. They're generous enough to help us out in a big way. And a lot of the nonprofits also do as well, because some of the bigger ones have the funds to help some of the smaller ones to throw this event on an annual basis. So.
Well, we always know it's getting to be time for Founders Day when we see the volunteers as one of the 3 sanctioned groups that do the collection of the commons with the big rockets, and we give a little money to go to a good cause. And we watch the red thermometer in front of McKinsey's building next to Aubuchon hopefully rise higher and higher. How are we doing on finances this year? Is everything good? Or do we need a little more?
We do definitely need a little more.
Okay.
We're doing better than we have in the past. We've been getting out there a lot more, going to the elections and seeing people and getting donations, and people have been very generous. But we're still about halfway there, and with only a couple of weeks left, we really need to get moving.
Well, one way to make it work is everybody who's watching this, put on your calendar for Saturday, June 8th to come on out. It's in this coming week, so folks, it's time now. And as you come down, there's so many really cool things to do. But let's start with the beginning of the day. And of course, you are usually my beginning of the day, because we at Cable Access, right here in this cable channel, by the way, we broadcast the parade for those who can't make it out. But what's better than a parade on a beautiful day in Foxborough? I can't think of anything either.
That's a trick question.
For folks at home who've watched this program before, I love it when I get them stumped a little bit. So my apologies. But what we're going to do is take us through the day. So the parade starts at what time?
Parade starts at 10.
Okay, but people got to get there early to get a good seat.
Right, and there's always something going on. When people are getting ready for the parade, getting down to the parade route and everything, there's just a lot going on. The bands are warming up, and so you can hear them. You can see the Clydesdales getting the steamer out of the shed early in the morning.
Is the steamer making an appearance this year?
The steamer is making an appearance this year.
Pulled by the Clydesdales.
Pulled by the Clydesdales.
That'll be worth the price of admission anyway. And of course, it's free.
Yeah.
So when I use the price of admission, folks, that's not an excuse. Come on down to the parade.
And then we have, the surrounding area fire departments that are participating as well, showing their support for our town, as well as the police department and the Foxborough High School band, which is just amazing. So they typically start off the parade. And then going back and further, we find other organizations that have signed up, antique cars, as well as surrounding town bands.
Are the tractors making an appearance this year?
Yes.
See, folks at home, this is fun, and I love a good parade. And Rick Plasmati and I will be your hosts as we narrate the events, but you won't hear that because you'll be down on Central Street or around the Common as they wind their way down to the field, the Booth Playground, for the field activities. And so the parade winds its way, and then it makes a little jog down Railroad Avenue and then comes up Bird Street. But as it does that, it's a super location right on the Common, because you're getting both sides of it, and it's one of those things where it's just such a high energy level, particularly with, you mentioned the fire engines as they're going screaming through, and then you see the groups come up. It's such a high energy and a great time to just be in Foxborough. I get excited about it. I love Founders Day, so
do we.
I hope you're able to sense that at home. So, so the parade happens. And everybody goes down to the field, and we all stand around and look at each other.
No, not quite.
Not quite.
No?
Oh, you have to make a rush over to get strawberry shortcake.
Everybody
or
loves
you
the
get
strawberry
clam
shortcake from the
cakes.
Historical Society, right?
No, that's
No,
the
the
Garden Club.
Garden Club.
Garden Club. Foxborough Garden Club.
Excellent.
But the Historical Society will be down there, so go look for them, as well as several
And
other venues. this
Friday
year.
night, they've got their dedication on the Common.
I was going to ask you about that. So the Friday before Founders Day, which is June 7th,
Correct.
there is an event on the Common.
Yep. There's
And
a
the Serenity
dedication
seniors will be there. It's a dedication.
of the first meeting house, and it's the 250th anniversary of that.
And there was a great article written in the Foxborough Reporter this past week, shameless plug, that did mention that. And so there is a pre-opening to Founders Day, and everybody's invited down to the Common. I believe it's at 6:30 maybe?
I believe so.
I believe so. Come on down and celebrate Foxborough's true beginning through remembering the organization of a meeting house, which is one of the requirements to break off from where we were with Rentham.
Yeah, and the downtown is such a beautiful location with the Rotary and everything being cleaned up and just, spectacular for the spring. It was a great time to get together and meet people and see this and start off Founders Day knowing that the next day is just going to be full of celebration.
That's great. And of course, Foxborough Central is named because we're in Foxborough and our new studio is located on 28th Central Street. So you're also welcome to stop by here or see us down in the field. We'll have a booth set up. Mark Nash does a great job of doing our publicity and making sure that the community as a whole is aware that we, also a nonprofit organization, are there. And I guess that speaks now to on the field, there's going to be so many cool things going on, and so many of the nonprofit and civic organizations are going to be down there. It's just a great way to spend the day. And we were talking before we got on here, and I've already forgotten all the things. Helicopters, hot air balloons, music, fire, what? Talk to me.
We've got a little bit of everything going on. Some of them are going to be very familiar to everybody. The old standbys are always going to be coming in, and we've always got somebody new that's coming in, blending in. Last year we did do the Flying Memorial for the Vietnam vets that had the helicopter down. We're still trying to tie up the last few minutes, last few loose ends on that, but it looks like we're very positive they're going to be coming again this year. So that
Excellent.
was very, very popular last year. We have the Garden Club, as you talked about, with the strawberry shortcake everybody looks forward to. We have the Cow Chip Bingo again this year.
Cow Chip Bingo.
That helps support Founders Day. That has been a good fundraiser for us in the last couple of years. It has allowed us to help fund the day and on the field and before selling the deeds and so forth.
So if I have not bought my deed already, and I'm sitting at home and I'm saying, I want to get involved with some cow chips, do I just show up day of and I can still buy a deed day of?
You can buy them there, or you can get them in advance at Cindy's Jewelry Shop. There's a number of places around town.
Yeah.
Cindy's Jewelry Shop, which is on Central Street here, and is also your headquarters for grabbing a t-shirt if you want ahead of time.
Exactly. And also, if you want to get the Cow Chip Bingo deeds, they're at my store at Cindy's Diamond and Jewelry Gallery or at Sharon Credit Union,
Okay.
which is down at Chestnut Green. So you have options, or you can buy them on the day of, but we're hoping that we'll sell close to all of them before then. So come on down.
Come on down and get those deeds.
They're only,
Don't wait because they do sell out.
yeah, and they're only $10 a piece for a chance to win $500. It's a great opportunity, and you're supporting Founders Day by doing it.
And you always want to be involved in the game when the cow decides to play, right?
There's cash on the table.
That's right.
Somebody's going home with it.
Well, cash is somewhere, so.
It is.
Anyway.
So we've got a number of other things going on as well, and certainly I'm not going to be able to hit everybody, and I don't want to let anybody feel that who wasn't mentioned here, that they're not an important part of the day.
This is called a cliffhangers. We're going to talk, and then at the end we're going to say, but there is so much more going on.
And there
that
is.
You got to make your way down to the field.
We've got a strongman competition scheduled to go on down there this year.
A strongman competition.
Right. A lot of folks in town are familiar with Justin Sulham, who has a foundation he's established 50 feet closer. And he always, in any of the truck pulls, or last year he did the fire engine pulls and stuff, he donates all the proceeds that he gets from those pulls to a nonprofit organization. It's typically something to do with children. He's very, very fond of making sure that the kids in need receive whatever he can contribute to it through this organization. So he's doing a wonderful job with that. He's got a number of strongmen, competitive strongmen, that have now gotten behind him, behind the scenes, and this thing is really taken on legs. He's got basically a national organization now.
Really?
That's working behind him. So a bunch of those folks are going to be coming down doing a strongman competition.
That was quick. I mean, it was just yesterday I remember reading about the beginnings, so that's wonderful. And he's going to make an appearance at Founders Day this year.
It is. I mean, I'll let him pitch the rest of the business so it gets pitched accurately, but he's come a long way with that, and more kids are going to be the beneficiaries of his hard work and the strongmen of the organization as well.
Great.
That are working with Justin.
Looking forward to seeing that.
I believe he might even be competing as well on Founders Day. He is a strongman competitor as well.
Okay.
We do have an afternoon band. I believe it's 10 past 2 is the name of the band. They're not a local band, but they were one that decided they wanted to be a part of the day, and they are going to be playing as well on the Common with the JCs.
Okay.
A week or two after that event. We've got the Galley Dogs in the evening, but back to the daytime, we have the petting zoo will be down there. We will have the fire department.
The fire department will be there with a demonstration.
Yes,
every year they come up with something slightly new. Last year I remember there was a crashed car and some work in extricating, and they got the jaws of life out. And
I'm hoping that's on the agenda this year.
I'm watching that from the other side of the field. I'm like, that's pretty cool there. And I saw all the kids running up and watching that. So
that is one of the things we discuss, but it's always a last minute thing where they can get the car from and how much they can fit into their schedule. They do have a busy day that day. They do have an event at the stadium that night as well. So
But they
I
always
know.
make it well worthwhile and
They
support.
absolutely do. And I also want to plug the police and fire department. A lot of the folks that you will see on Founders Day working that event, as large as it is, are donating their time. So I don't want to leave them out of this as well.
And I think that's something we can't hit on enough, is that this is truly a community day, and the community gets together. It's not government sanctioned or sponsored. It is done through the auspices of the volunteers and the volunteers across the board. So it's really a great opportunity to come out and see neighbors, see friends, and know that everybody's doing it for the right reasons.
Absolutely. You started to hit on the JCs and the Rotary. They'll be down there with their hot dogs and burgers and wings and all the rest of the good food that we enjoy. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of the...
And the balloon bounces and the
Exactly, with the
great
local
things for the
churches.
kids and for the maybe older kids that come out there and do some things.
Sure. I believe there's going to be a baseball throwdown this year, so we'll see who we have in town that's got the fastest arm.
All right. Well, I having spent the last couple seeing all the noodle arms, you know who you are.
Yeah.
Chuck the old apple at the water dunk tank.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing some real pictures out there.
I haven't seen a dunk
I'm
tank
kidding,
yet.
I'm kidding, all right? Only half of your noodle arms. All right.
You got wet. That's what mattered. Goal attained.
The important thing, though, is that those are great fundraisers. And,
Absolutely.
There's nothing better than seeing friends and family, particularly the kids as they grow up and grow older, seeing them come back year after year, and then with their friends. But it's also a weekend traditionally for reunions and class graduations. So it's truly and I understand that timing sometimes happens, but it truly is an all-encompassing Foxborough weekend.
Well, how much cooler is it to have a child graduating from the high school or college and be able to bring them to the fireworks that night? It just kind of caps off the evening.
It does. And let's talk about the fireworks. I'm an old fart, not as old as some of you, a little bit older than many of you, but I've never ever seen fireworks consistently year in, year out as wonderful as in Foxborough. And I don't know whether you're paying $50,000 for these things or $60,000 for these things, but that is truly a wonderful, wonderful and I'm kidding, folks. But it's truly a wonderful, wonderful event. How do you do that year in and year out?
Well, that's a big part of our fundraising. That is one of the more pricier items on the agenda for Founders Day. So therefore, we do panhandle, if you will, or beg, whatever it takes to get that slush fund created so we can afford that on an annual basis. But Atlas Pyrovision, who does the fireworks for us, they've been with us for 25 years now. Mm-hmm. And they are very good about also sponsoring a portion of those fireworks.
That's great.
So we've got not only a participant, but also a contributor in the day with those folks.
Well, that's a great shout out to them also. And
right.
I've always, again, sitting on the sidelines, or actually I usually sit right behind the second base area on the Babe Ruth field, but that's beside the point. Sitting behind second base, I always watch this and I think, wow, I wonder if we get such a great show because we're not competing with all the other 4th of July venues. And
well, that's a part of it, but the team that comes out from Atlas, they actually begged to come out. We have the same gentleman every single year that come out to set up and put on the show for us, and we're on first name basis with all of them. It's really been another wonderful part of Founders Day with the relationships that we've built with all these folks.
If it ever comes up, tell him I think he does a great job.
I will certainly pass it on.
I'm one of a few, but so Cindy, with the coming up again of Founders Day and your involvement with it, what are some of the things that are highlighted in your day? Because you're out there from beginning to end, as is Steve.
Well, we start way in advance. We start planning this right now for next year. Mm-hmm. And then so monthly we meet and leading right up to the day. So the day before, we're setting up. And we're setting up the field and getting everything ready, making the grid for the cow chip bingo, setting up where the lines are for the tents and everything else so that we know where people are going to go first thing Saturday morning. And so I just kind of bounce in and out of that, and the guys do a really, really good job, and everybody, all the volunteers are going down to the field and really putting that together, and it's an all-day thing. And then on Saturday, we're up at 6 in the morning or earlier. The helicopter beat us to the field last year, and we're expecting them there at 6:30, and I hear going over my house, and I'm like, what? They're too early. And so we get down there, and it's like they're landing, and it's like, no. Oh, yeah. Well, we missed it, but it was awesome just to see it, just kind of hovering over and going over the school and coming down and landing, and it was really quite a thing. And that really started our day last year. So, we're hoping that that's going to be, starting our day again this year. And then I'm bouncing back and forth in between the field, the booth, and then back down at the parade route, and then walking up the parade route, or jumping a ride with one of the police officers.
Or getting an
up here
interview with our cable broadcast.
to get up here so I can be in front of the fire engine so I can have that interview with you. And then watching the parade. You know, I like to get right in the middle of it, watch it, see what's going on, making sure everything's going well, making sure I can clean up some horse poo if I have to. And
That's been done.
I heard the Clydesdales are going to be on their best behavior this year.
I certainly hope so.
Well, having as a JC, I did that duty once or twice also, and I remember it fondly. But good for you for doing it, because I'm not doing it either. The parade is such a big kickoff, and it's such a loud and proud type of thing, saying, "Hey, we're Foxborough. This is great." But you know, with the parade as it goes through, and last year there were 4 divisions, I believe. Is it still going to be as pretty big as past years?
Yes.
Particularly, it's the 25th anniversary. So.
Yes, we are expecting to have the same 4 latecomers, late bloomers that decide that they're going to get in the last minute. They're going to be stuck at the end of the parade, and you know that's fine.
We have a place for them, and
All are welcome.
absolutely.
But there's, you know, in setting up the parade, the start's now. You know, we know where each band is going, each car is going, each person is going, each group, and all the different, you know, to keeping the noise levels consistent so that you're not being overpowered by the fire engines for the band, and then by the next band behind that, and the tractors overpowering.
It is true
other
organization.
people.
You're right.
So we're making sure, you know, and Monica and Dave Fizzler are putting that together, and they do a fabulous job.
Because you have the people who organize parade, you've got people who organize the
The
field
field.
activity. You've also, and time is fleeting so fast. And you know, folks at home, I hope you're enjoying our visit today with Founders Day Committee Chair Cindy Drew and Steve Drew, who are leading the way. And I haven't even asked what this year's theme is.
It's the 25th anniversary of Foxborough Founders Day.
Okay, so that's the theme.
That is the theme.
The official theme this year is the 25th anniversary of Foxborough Founders Day. We want to see you down there. If they don't know how to get there, if they don't know where the booth playground is, if they want to see what a schedule is for events, you do have a great website, and I go on it every year to see what's going on, also to download my registration forms and to get all the other things that need to happen. The Foxborough Founders Day website is
www.foxboroughfoundersday.com, and it's with a UGH. And
spelled the right way.
spelled the
Yes.
right way, where you can get your forms. Also, on the day of, we do updates. So if there's a rain threat or other weather issues or cancellation of some sort or an emergency, we go to the website and we update it throughout the day, the entire day. So you'll be able to see that. And it's used very well. We've got thousands of hits, especially on rainy days, where people are looking to see if anything's been canceled or... But in the meantime, that's where you can get all your forms, all your information, and right up at the end, we'll put the schedule for Founders Day right on it.
So that schedule, and we haven't even touched on everything that's going on because it is action-packed. You're telling me about a hot air balloon.
Yeah, in the evening for the fireworks, when everybody's gathering on the field, and we've got that kind of like free time to play, and we've got the space as well. We are going to have a tethered hot air balloon ride sponsored by Remax. They're going to come down, and they're doing a fundraiser as well with any proceeds that are donated to that for the rides. So, weather permitted, they'll be down there, and it'll give us one more thing to enjoy as we wait for the fireworks.
Hot air balloon, strongman competition, food on the field, fire department display. What am I missing?
Doll carriage parade.
The doll carriage parade is one of the favorites, and everybody who has done it before has a special place in the heart. And if you haven't, if you have a child who likes to decorate and wants to show his or her stuff.
Exactly, and if you go, they have different prizes, different ribbons that they give out for each of the doll carriages or wagons. Because we like to get everybody involved and decorate those wagons up and see and go around a little circle. We have music and, you know, the registration is at 12 and the doll carriage parade itself is at 1 o'clock on the tennis courts.
On the tennis courts, and I was honored last year to be able to announce the winners on the tennis courts, and it was really one of those feel-good moments right there, because it was, you know, the kid who won was just
That was a lot
cute
of
as a
pride
button,
for
cute as a
those little
button.
ones, absolutely.
And they take pride in what they did. They really worked hard on those
Oh, yeah.
And then also going on the field this year, and I don't know if we've really touched on it, but the Masons are doing a child
ID program,
child
right?
ID program. Tell me about that.
They've been I'll give you what I know real quick. They have been one of the leaders in Massachusetts in identifying children in advance that, heaven forbid, the day come that somebody go missing, putting together a CD for the parents to take home. In the middle, have a short video with the child, a little interview, so the police have something to work with. They have a way of doing impressions right there locally of the child's dental records and fingerprints, and I believe that there's some DNA information as well. So in the event that a child does go missing, the police have all the potential information that they could possibly utilize to bring that child back to their family in a healthy condition that much sooner, rather than trying to scramble and figure out what does this child look like, what does his voice sound like. We're giving law enforcement the tools, and
This
the Masons
information
are
is given
behind
to
that.
the parents.
Right, they leave there with a disc. The information is only stored on that disc, they tell me, and the parent can go home, stick it in a drawer, safe, whatever, and hope that they never have to use that.
Wow,
But I'm told,
that's a very impressive program.
I'm told that we're in the states that they have the ability to get some information back from law enforcement. Some states that's protected by privacy laws, but they've had some success stories, and
Really?
enough to pin their chest on that information when provided to law enforcement. Got a child back home and safe in a very speedy amount of time.
Wow.
Sometimes
Well,
hours.
You never want that ever to happen, but
Absolutely
if
not.
it should ever happen, it's great to know that the Masons here in Foxborough are putting this program, bringing it to the folks at Founders Day. So that's something that's going on in the rec shed.
Right.
We're so close to running out of time. I don't even know if we're going to get to everything. I guess people are going to have to log on to the website at
Foxborough, foundersday.com.
spelled the old way with the UGH. Also, we have at Cindy's
Diamond and Jewelry Gallery.
right here on Central Street, next to the beautiful FCA studios with the blue awning. Also, Sharon Credit Union up at Chestnut Green. So if you're going to the library, you can pop in there and pick up a T-shirt.
Yep,
and
pick
there's
up
other
the T-shirt, the cow chip bingo, deeds, or any other information that you're looking for. Founders Day has a lot of information. A lot of people are slightly confused about how to fill out forms and stuff like that. If you need to, bring the forms right into me. We'll make sure everything's all set.
And then, of course, in the week leading up, that Thursday, you always have a lot of information in the Foxborough Reporter, so people should definitely pick up their issue then, because you have the grid layout of who's on the field and the final lineup. So it's a great way for folks to have a reference to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, because you kind of have to plan your day.
But also starting this Saturday, we have our boot drive. So going around the Rotary when you're coming uptown, either to go to the soccer events or just to come up to go get your coffee and see people or get out because it's Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
From 7 to noontime, we're going to be out at the Rotary collecting whatever change you might have in your pockets or in your ashtrays, and we'll happily take quarters, nickels, dimes, and $20, $30, $50 also.
And for those of you who are at home who missed this past Memorial Day, you of course can bring those same nickels, dimes, quarters, and dollar bills down to the field. They always have a registration table, and I always see the big rockets sitting down there looking for some more donations if you want to support the fireworks. So folks, with less than 1 minute to go, I'm of course going to give my friend Cindy the final word. But before we do, log on to www.foxboroughfoundersday.com and check out Founders Day, or you can catch the link on this great cable access website, www.fcatv.org. Cindy, if you have one thing you want to tell the folks at home, what is it?
Foxborough Founders Day is volunteer run, and we're always looking for new volunteers and people to come out. So what we'd like to do is have everybody come down to our tent on Founders Day and come see us and see what they need to do. If they want to help, they can just help by little things, or they can do big things. They can be part of the committee, or they can just help out for a day. But everybody there is a volunteer, and we just want to congratulate and applaud our volunteers for the hard work that they do. And I am one of a group of people, and the group of people get together all year long to put this together. So come by, say thank you, and join us if you can.
And all the folks who are wearing the yellow shirts that day, they are all volunteers, and be nice to them and they'll help you have a wonderful day. And on behalf of those of us who really enjoy Founders Day, thanks to you, Cindy and Steve, and all the volunteers for making this truly a great, wonderful, special Foxborough Day, and one of the great organizations that makes Foxborough Gem of Norfolk County, to use the phrase I used at the beginning of my program. Speaking of my program, we're so out of time I can't even begin to tell you. I want to thank you at home for taking the time to spend with me and my guest, Steve Drew, as we talk about Foxborough Founders Day. It's coming up. We'll see you there. Take care, Foxborough.